Some tormented souls in hell and some rewarded souls in heaven. I spent all the month of July 2020 taking care of my sister in her house. She was recently operated on the stomach and depended on me for her post-surgery care. She lives alone near the city of Osaka. I took this time to evangelize her while taking care of her. She is 5 years older than me. I would go together with my mother to church by the infinite grace of God in order to exercise my duties. My sister had unfortunately turned away from grace in her adolescence because the world ended up seducing her. When she turned 16 years old, she started dating a guy in high school, who took her even further away from the holy way. Now pay attention to the holy word I received. On the 8th of July, while my sister slept, I was praying prostrated at the bedside in the next room. After a few minutes, I fell asleep in prayer when suddenly I felt my body going numb and cold. I ended up having a new experience. It was an extracorporeal, out-of-body experience. I could see myself leaning over at the edge of the bed, and at the same time I was out of my body. Finally, an angel appeared in the room just like in my last experience. He was covered by a light which made it impossible to see his face except for his medium-length hair that passed his shoulders. He held a golden sword in his right hand. He told me right away, "You have been pleasing the Lord by your effort and obedience. I'm happy to reveal more mysteries of the spirit world." When he said that, I saw a big black hole opening on the bedroom floor. I got scared because I remembered my first experience. When the angel had finished saying that, I lost control and we went down into that dark hole. When we got to the bottom, I saw a huge strange gate. I remembered my first experience. I already knew that the Lord was again showing me hell. It happened that the gate opened and we entered that place, just like the last time. I started to feel the heat, the terrible feeling of death, and a disgusting bad smell circulating in that atmosphere. I heard the sound of many screams from doomed souls. The angel took me to a part where I saw dozens of men being tortured by demons with lashes and burning flames covering them up to their calves. I asked the angel, "Who are they and what did they do when they were alive to suffer such torment in this place?" The angel told me, "These are the dead from the tragedy of the football team of Chapecoense." When I had this revelation, I remember I saw this tragedy of death on TV in 2016 where 71 people died. I didn't think these football fans would all be tortured like that in hell. Lamia Flight 2933 was a charter flight of an Avro RJ-85, operated by Lamia, that on the 28th of November 2016 crashed near Medellin, Colombia, killing 71 of the 77 people on board. The aircraft was transporting the Brazilian Chapecoense football squad and their entourage from Santa Cruz de la Sierra, Bolivia, to Medellin, where the team was scheduled to play at the 2016 Copa Sudamericana finals. One of the 4 crew members, 3 of the players, and 2 other passengers survived with injuries. Wikipedia. The angel told me, football is a source of idolatry in the world. It was a sport planned here in hell by Lucifer. Then I saw a girl who was a Christian on earth. She sang in the youth group in her church. A little demon was tormenting her through the anal hole while she was chained face down on a bench. I was curious and at the same time terrified of such torture. The angel told me she practiced anal sex with her dog hidden from her parents since the age of 8 and never confessed her immorality. She never left this practice that became compulsive and she drowned in the sea near a beach. She is here in hell since 3 years ago. It was that girl's terrible torment, but unfortunately, nobody could change her destiny. I saw men burning in torches suspended in the air with flames to the chest. They were shepherds and bishops who married other women while their respective first wives were still alive on earth. They were contaminating the altar while in an adulterous second marriage. The angel gave me as reference the book of Luke 16:18 where it is written, "Whoever puts away his wife, and marries another, commits adultery, and whoever marries her that is put away from her husband commits adultery." I remembered that Pastor Fukami allows second marriage weddings in the church. We walked more in hell and I saw a meeting of demons. One of them said, "We must increase the time these Christians spent on new technology. We have to steal their time. We've achieved a lot with many of our new media every day for these Christians and churches love the world so much. They already accept our inventions without feeling guilty." These demons gave terrible laughs mocking Christians that are addicted to the new media. Another demon exhibited a book and said, Now that we have mastered the minds and hearts of the greatest theologians in the world, we will use them to teach a fake gospel through the theology of prosperity and Christian psychology. And then without being seen we left that place. I saw a big bench of stone covered with dusty books of biblical philosophy and modern theology. The angel told me, it is through these false teachings that many have strayed from the faith and have distanced themselves from the truth by believing in teachings taught by men and not by God to feed their egos. At that moment, I remembered what Paul said in 2 Timothy 4:3-4 For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned to fables. I saw Christians in hell for being too doubting and murmuring against the revelations God gave His children and persecuting the servants of Christ. They reached the point of blasphemy against the Holy Spirit by going against the revelations. They were all deformed hybrids, half human and half animal form. I also saw selfish and self-centered Christians in hell. The angel said, they are there for not having brotherly love and were desensitized to the suffering of others. While they were alive on earth, they deliberately denied giving support to the brothers in need, and this is a sin before God. It is written in James 4:17, the one who knows how to do good and does not do it commits sin. 1 Peter 4:8 says, and above all things have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Many of them practiced gluttony and were unable to share their food with the needy. Finally, we left that place and we went up in an incalculable speed where this darkness of hell began to give way to the light. We arrived at the gate of heaven to my biggest surprise. I felt at that moment the most special feeling in all my existence. I already decided not to return to earth anymore. At the gate, there were 2 angels who guarded the entrance of heaven. The 2 radiant angels waved and we entered. I was taken to the paradise of God and I saw many joyful brothers enjoying the pleasure of that place and feeling the freedom of staying there. An angel showed me a man and said, this is a servant of the Lord who was faithful to death. He taught and lived in holiness and justice. He is awaiting the reward for his works at the end of days. That man had a long white robe and there were many stones on his crowns. I asked the angel who he was. And the angel told me, this is David Miranda. He was a Brazilian shepherd who was very zealous and faithful to his work on earth. And he produced fruits for the kingdom of God in many countries because of his dedication while he was alive. I will show you the reward he will receive on that great day. The angel showed me a huge mansion in heaven and told me that it belongs to that man. The mansion had 5 floors and was all made up of transparent gold that does not exist on earth. He also showed a crown full of precious stones whose composition was diamond. I didn't know this man and his life and not even his ministry. I can only say that he is very happy in heaven. The angel also showed me the crown and the mansion of a Japanese missionary who lived in the United States. He devoted much of his life to the gospel and spreading the message of holiness and justice. He had many experiences with God and worked for Him in many countries. There were flashes in heaven when he died. His reward is great in the heavenly paradise. The angel told me that his son is still on earth continuing the ministry. It was also revealed to me that the mansion of this missionary is one of the biggest in heaven. I have never heard of that missionary, not even in our country, even though he is also a Japanese like me, and I was not revealed his name. I asked to be shown my home and my crown, but the angel told me that it wasn't time yet. So he told me it was time for me to return to my body and that experience was to be written like the others for the edification of many. And so I did. We went back to the room at my sister's house. I saw my body in the same position when I was praying. The angel told me that I should persevere myself in prayers and supplications, filling myself with God's power. The angel told me, demons have been fighting the messages that have been given to you since the beginning. Many doubt these revelations, but you must continue to be steadfast as a faithful watchman. And in the end, you will receive your reward on that big day. Having said that, he disappeared into the light, and so I returned to my cold body. It was already 6 a.m. After this last experience, I was sick for 5 days, and it was my sister Oska who started taking care of me because she had already recovered from the surgery. She felt stronger. My sister cared for me the same way I cared for her during her post-operation. I hope that my beloved sister returns to the holy ways of the Lord. Dear brothers, the biggest lesson that I had in my last experience was about brotherly love. We must love each other without pretense and with a pure heart, because that is the will of our Creator, that we never deny help to the needy who suffer and never ignore the suffering of others. Some tormented souls in hell and some rewarded souls in heaven. I spent all the month of July 2020 taking care of my sister in her house.